Hey guys, welcome back, or if you're just joining me for the first time, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's class is going to be slowing things right down. It'll be a hybrid between a yin and just some general stretching. It's going to be short, so I want you to think of this as a way to just reset, to wind down. Maybe you can do this before bed or first thing when you wake up in the morning. Grab as many props as you have available to you, a couple blocks, blanket, strap, a bolster if you have one of those. And I'm going to be using my timer. That's why I've got my phone out. It's not so I can text while I'm in these poses. Go ahead and grab your props, and if you have a bolster right now, that's probably going to be more comfortable for you, but I'm going to use 2 blocks. We'll start off in Supta Virasana. So set your 2 blocks up if you're using those. Sit between your calves. If you're doing it with a bolster, just have that exactly where the blocks are now. And lie yourself down. Have the bottom block just so that the bottom edge is at the base of your shoulder blades, and your top block for head support. Maybe you come up onto the higher end here. Supta Virasana. If this is too difficult for you on your knees or on your ankles, you can do Supta Baddha Konasana with the legs in bound angle. Once you're comfortably set up in the pose, readjust yourself. Think of this as a chest opener. So lift your chest up towards the ceiling, draw your shoulder blades back and down. Slightly draw your chin towards your chest to help you lengthen the back of your neck. And we'll be here for about 2 or 3 minutes. Focus on your breath. Slow everything down. If you're using a bolster, notice where the base of the bolster is. Are you pushing that right in against your sacrum, your low back? If so, try and create some space. Move it away so that your low back is free and there's some space between your sacrum and the bolster. Do you feel any tension? Maybe in your ankles? If so, press onto the tops of your feet so that you almost lift your hips off the mat. Press on the pinky side of your foot. Play around with those different subtleties to help take away any tension. It's important to focus on stilling the mind, quietening down the body. When we hold these poses for long periods of time, you'll find that the mind naturally stills, becomes quieter. If you're doing this before bed, maybe put on your favorite music, light a candle, whatever you need to do to help you unwind. When you're ready, gently start to ease yourself up. Press your elbows onto your mat, then make your way onto your hands. Come up as symmetrically as you can. Lift your chest through your arms, draw your shoulder blades back, keep that nice elevation in the sternum that we worked so hard to achieve. And place your hands on the mat. Come into a brief cat-cow. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round it out. Straighten one leg and then the other. Come into plank pose just briefly. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out. Release from Supta Virasana, or reclined hero's pose. Move your blocks out of the way. And we'll make our way into our next pose, Baddha Konasana. So for this, I'm going to grab a blanket just to pad my ankles. Nice seated position. Couple of variations you can take here. Place the soles of your feet together. You can create a wider diamond shape if you like, or you can pull the heels right into the midsection. Think of the target area and where you want to be stressing right now. For me, that's the inner groin. So today I'm going to play around with that balance between working the outer hips by moving the feet further away and working the inner groin by having them closer in. Once you've found your variation, lift your chest, press your feet evenly together, make sure they're symmetrical, and gently fold yourself forward. Make sure you're nice and comfortable. Notice where you're feeling the sensations of this posture. And lastly, you can choose whether you want to allow the head to hang down. It's okay to have a slight rounding in the spine, in the back. Our target area is the hips, the inner groin. So as long as there's not any discomfort in the back, then it doesn't really matter if there's some rounding going on there. Slightly draw your knees towards the mat. If you're not feeling this or you want to add some intensity, you can actually place a block underneath your blanket to add some height. This is for you hypermobile people. It allows the knees to move further down than they would have before and intensify the stretch. For those of you who are more tight-bodied, you can place some blankets or bolsters or blocks underneath the knees to help lift up and take some of the weight. Variations for everyone, everything. Focus on your breath. Slow the inhales. Lengthen the exhales. Notice if you can completely let go of any muscular engagement. Allow the tension to be fully on the ligaments, the tendons. Visualize your bones moving and spreading and stretching apart, creating space. Take one more deep, slow, controlled breath. And gently ease yourself up and out. Plant your feet on the mat and your hands behind you. Lower your knees side to side. Windshield wiper. Release any of that built up tension. And move your props out of the way. Our next pose we'll come into is a lizard lunge. So start in just a modified plank pose. And what we'll do from here is step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Keep your back knee off the mat to start. So establish a nice solid foundation here. Then lower your right knee down onto your mat, untuck your toes. You can stay here if you choose. Our target area that we're wanting to stress is this left outer hip area, maybe slightly the hamstring or the inner hip depending on your body type. From here you can choose to make your way down onto your elbows or your forearms, or you can open your chest over to the left, place your left hand on your knee and roll onto the outer edge of your left foot. Your toes can be facing to the side, forwards, on an angle, whatever suits you and helps you to affect that target area. Once you've found your variation, start to settle into the pose and find that stillness. Readjust if you need to. Don't make yourself uncomfortable if you don't need to be. The purpose of today's class is to relax and unwind, de-stress. It's not about building tension, it's about releasing tension. You can use your left hand and give your outer left hip a nice little deep tissue massage, pressure points, trigger points. As you do that, use your exhale to soften and release even more. More important than what a pose looks like is how it feels. If you're feeling any discomfort, try and differentiate whether that is good discomfort, stretching, tension, or negative or bad discomfort, constriction, compression, pain, and try to modify and avoid that. Gently ease yourself up, make your way into your hands or your forearms, heel toe your foot back in, lift your back knee off the mat, step back through plank pose, dip your hips left and then right, release that built up tension, and let's move over to the opposite side. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, lower your back knee down, untuck your toes, and move your way into your variation of lizard lunge. Whether that's coming onto your forearms, rolling onto the outer edge of the foot, whatever variation suits your body. Slowly ease yourself in. Don't be in any rush. Work with your body and allow it to ease into the pose rather than trying to rush to your 100%. Be patient with your body. Allow it to receive the pose rather than trying to force the pose upon yourself, upon your body. It's okay to add that tension, pressing into your body, pressing into that target area, but do so slowly. Do it with care, with precision. And once you find that sweet spot, breathe and settle. You might feel all the little fine tissues, the ligaments, all those connective parts start to twitch and release and give and move, and that's okay. We tend to hold poses for much shorter periods of time than we do in these yin sessions, and different things happen when we hold these poses for longer. When you're ready, gently start to ease yourself up out of your lizard lunge. Lift your back knee off the mat. Step back through plank. Dip your hips side to side. And come onto your hands and knees. For our next pose, we'll grab our yoga strap. Make your way over onto your back. To begin, place a strap over the ball of your right foot. Straighten your left foot along the mat. And bring your right foot up to 90 degrees unless your hamstrings are too tight. So just bring it up to the point where you feel gentle tension on your right hamstring. Flex your foot, take hold of your strap. Think about your foot that's lying along the mat. Is it limp and disengaged, or can you bring some life into that leg too? Keep pulling on the strap and drawing your toes up towards your face. Gentle, sustained tension on your hamstring. We'll be here for about 5 breaths. Slowly increase the amount of tension you put on that strap. And in doing that, you'll increase the tension on the hamstring. On your next exhale, we're going to lower the foot over to the right for Supta Padangusthasana 2. Exhale, you release your foot over to the right. So once again, notice where the tension changes. You might feel it more on the inner hamstring, the inner right hamstring. Lift your left foot up and move your bottom foot over to the left slightly. Helps to counterbalance. And once again, create tension on the strap and draw your toes up towards your face. Play around with the internal and external rotation of that right leg, the right femur bone. Notice how that changes the stretch. 3 slow and controlled breaths. Ease yourself up to Supta Padangusthasana 1, straighten the leg and lower it down. Release the strap, and let's go ahead and place that over our left foot. So the strap goes onto the ball of the left foot. Place your right foot along your mat. Take a hold of the strap in your left hand and gently start to bring tension into that left hamstring. Keep working the bottom leg. Square your hips, draw your left hip towards the bottom of your mat. And for the next few breaths, slowly start to increase the tension on your left hamstring. As you do that, see if you can quieten the mind. Breathe and settle. This isn't about how far you can go, how deep you can stretch. It's about gentle, sustained pressure. On your next exhale, lower your left leg over to the left, Supta Padangusthasana 2. Maintain tension on the strap. For me, I start to feel the stretch more on the inner hamstring, slightly on the adductors too. You can move your right foot over to the right as a counterbalance. And then keep drawing your toes towards your face. Really press the right kneecap down to help ground your pelvis onto the mat. Two more slow, controlled breaths. Inhale through Supta Padangusthasana 1. Release your strap and move it out of the way. Lie yourself back down on your mat. Grab your blanket if you need it, a pillow, make yourself comfortable for our final pose, Shavasana. Palms face up. Slightly draw your chin towards your chest. Keep the back of your neck nice and long to help the airflow move through your throat into your lungs. For the next few moments, notice how heavy you can become, how much you can completely surrender down to your mat. Notice any sensations that surface in your mind. Consider them, think about them, and then release them. Think of it like holding a bunch of balloons and one by one snipping each of the strings, watching that balloon float off up into the sky. Watch those thoughts float away from your conscious thought, from your conscious mind. Allow them to vanish, shift away. Stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. I hope you enjoyed this short, relaxing yin stretch session. Namaste, everyone.